All right, good evening, fans. Welcome to Football Focus Weekly. I'm the Pepman, Matt Morrow. Tonight we got a great show in store for you, but we're going to start the show off tonight with Pepman's players like we always do. And this week we've got a really special player, and he had a really great game, tying a school record with 4 touchdowns in one game, including 2 pick sixes. And he is Julian Crawley. We're going to bring him on the show with us right now. All right, Julian, how you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. Well, like I said to you before we got started, I thought you had a excellent game. Looking at your highlights, 2 pick sixes and 2 other touchdowns on offense for a 4 touchdown performance, tying the school record. First of all, take me through what it's like to run back a pick six. And you had a 100-yard pick six, man. What was going through your mind when you were running that ball back?
Well, when I was guarding the dude, I was looking at him and the quarterback at the same time. I saw the ball come. When I caught it, I said, "Oh yeah, all the way to the end zone." I was screaming it all the way to the end zone. You know, there was a big touchdown because it got our momentum back because they was already coming back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that was big for us.
So tell our audience what school you play for and where it's located and all that good stuff.
I play at Person High School in Roxborough, North Carolina.
So what's it like playing for your school?
Um, I grew up here. I've been here all my life, so
Mm-hmm.
it's like family to me.
That's awesome. And you guys are having a pretty good season, right?
Yeah, we got the best record in like years.
And a lot of that is because of your great plays that you're making on the field. Now your second pick six looked like it was a screen, and you jumped the screen and ran it back.
Yeah, that was my first pick six.
Okay, okay.
hmm
Now that showed to me that you had some great instinct on that. Were able to read the play. Was that something you saw during film study?
No, my coach had me in the flex. Like I was supposed to
Hmm.
be going in the flex, and when I saw him running the bubble, I just jumped, and the ball came right to me.
Oh, that's good stuff, man. And then on offense, you had a couple touchdowns as well. So are you kind of like an athlete? Because it looks like you were playing a couple different positions.
Yeah, they got me listed as an athlete. I play wide receiver, outside linebacker, and safety.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good, man. Out of those positions, which one is your favorite?
Wide receiver.
Most wide receivers say that.
Yeah, I like
That
having
makes
the ball in
sense.
my hands.
So, as a wide receiver, what are some of the best things you do on the football field?
Uh, I think I'm very good at route running. My hands. I think I can get past anybody if I'm one on one. I can get past them.
Absolutely. Your offensive coordinator posted a tweet today retweeting that you were going to be on and said you were a dog on the field.
Yeah,
What
that's my guy.
what makes you a dog on the field, man?
I mean, I think it's just my mentality. I don't go out there wanting to lose. I go out there to win. I go out there like I don't go out there to put on a show for myself. I go out there to do like what's best for my team to win.
Absolutely, man.
I think that's what makes me a dog.
Yes, sir. I love it. My last question for you, Julian. What do you like off the field? What are some things you like to do for fun when you're away from football?
Play the game, uh, hang out with friends, go to the mall, stuff like that. I don't really do nothing but play sports outside of school. So
Okay. Okay. So you play basketball, you run track, stuff like that?
yeah, I used to play baseball. I recently stopped.
Okay.
I do track now.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's Julian Crawley, guys. Real talented athlete, Roxborough High School. He's unsigned right now, so college coaches, make sure you check out that film, man. I know a lot of you guys follow us and you watch and see who the players are every week. He's the man. Great job, Julian. We appreciate the time, man, and congratulations on the win, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. All right. We are going to go over what we're going to talk about tonight on the show. We'll make that the other way. There we go. All right, so we're in Pepman's players. We're gonna run the intro, we'll come back, and then we got our topics that we talk about: Dirty Dozen, the county rankings, the CMS best to last most controversial rankings on Instagram. Then we got our game previews, predictions, and slime time with your favorite host Kenneth McClamrock, because I'm not. All right, so we're gonna get started, and we'll be right back, right here on Football Focus Weekly. This is Football Focus Weekly with CFI, Charlotte Football Insiders. All right, welcome back to Football Focus Weekly. We got a lot of Pepman players tonight. Before I get started on the players, we got a couple comments coming in already. Yes, let me bring on the engine about this too. Let me switch screens right here. So, yes, I will post that link in the chat, Coach, so you can take a look at that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Already done.
Oh, thank you. There it is. So that's why he's the engine, man. Where's the chat administrator? He's supposed to be doing stuff like that. See, we're over here pulling double duty. But yeah, the winter showcase, it is really, really firing up, man. We tweeted out today Virginia Union, who is number one in their poll, is coming again to the showcase. So
first team, actually, they were the first team that hit me up. Coach,
there you go.
We're gonna be there. Deal.
There you go. So
But
please,
not the only team, buddy.
Oh no, far from it. We're just trying to wait to make sure we time it the right way to start putting that stuff out there because we're still in mid-season, so a lot going on. But the link's in the chat. Make sure you share that with someone who can take advantage of college coaches being in person. Only juniors and seniors are getting a lot of questions from freshmen and sophomore parents. We can't have them there at this camp, but the camp in May, everyone will be allowed to attend. So thank you, Coach, for bringing that up. What's up, Derek Chambers?
God, dog. I'm gonna put myself on mute, man.
It's a very, very sensitive crew. So see, Jason Bass got you. See, there you go.
My man.
There you go. There you go. Nikisha, good evening. Good to see you. I'm still mad at you because you did not invite me to the tailgate. We'll handle that. All right, so
She knows what the party is, Pat.
that she does. So we'll put the engine in the background. But let's get back to Pepman's players. It's always sponsored by VTO Sports. VTO Sports is your good source for camps in the off season and helping them get ready for those exposure camps, colleges, and things of that nature. Make sure you check them out. VTOsports.com. So we got a lot of Pepman players this week. I'm going to try to go fast, but this might take a while. All right, because we had a lot of great performances, starting with Harding. Athlete A.J. Jenkins, number 3. A.J. scored twice on defense on a fumble recovery. Pick 6, scored on a touchdown reception, and threw a touchdown pass in the victory over Berry. He was amazing on the football field. He doesn't have Twitter, though. I fussed at him about that. He's got Instagram. That's his Instagram right there, 3 times with the 3 E's in there. Very talented young man. He's a junior. I think he's going to be even better once he gets in the weight room and hits the track in the offseason. He's going to be dynamite. He's pretty good right now as it is. Barry, number 5, athlete Savalis Ray. This guy was impressive too. He scored on a pick 6, had multiple tackles for a loss and a sack, and he had a big catch in the loss. Just relentless energy is the thing that I really loved about Savalis. Very talented player. I think his future's on defense. You see his Twitter right there. I'm not going to say all those numbers, but you see his name, Savalis, and then all those numbers right there. Back over to the Rams. Number 4, DB Keyshawn Jackson. He had a punt return for a touchdown and an interception. The interception was actually on the last player of the game. He almost ran it back for a touchdown in the victory. He's also one of the leaders on that team. He's been there, throughout the kind of tough years, but he's done a great job with his career. He's a free safety by trade, good size. He's got some college interest. I know a college, reached out to me after they saw his highlights from last Thursday night. So I think he'll be on a roster next year for sure. Also for Harding, number 15, wide receiver Jamonte Mobley. I highlighted him before the season. He's a talented young man. Playing both ways this year. He had a fumble recovery for a touchdown on defense. Then he had a nice touchdown catch in the victory over Berry. That was on the double pass that AJ threw, which was a nice play. His Twitter is at Monte5X_. He was an all-conference receiver last year. Very talented. And I'm glad, the Rams were able to get that win because they've been through, some tough things. And it was good to see them, have fun and celebrate last Thursday night. All right, over to Porter Ridge. We talked about this young man a lot before. Athlete Steven Zajkowski, 129 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, 10 tackles, and an interception in overtime. He also had the winning touchdown run in overtime right after he had the interception in a big victory over rival Marvin Ridge. You see his Twitter right there, Steven Zaya 25. Talented young man committed to Charleston Southern, and he's a big-time leader for Porter Ridge. All right, Community School Davidson. We talk a lot about A.J. Sirianni, who had a great game once again with 6 touchdown passes. But like I said on last week's show, he's throwing that ball to somebody. And last week, it was wide receiver Tanner Mullins who got the lion's share. 9 catches for 210 yards and 3 touchdowns in their victory. Just great receiving numbers. See his Twitter right there, at Tanner99_M. So you got a guy like AJ pulling the trigger. Receivers had to go get it, and you wouldn't have the numbers if nobody was going to get that ball. So great job, Tanner, and a Community School of Davidson. All right, another frequent Pepman player, Covenant Day, athlete Alex Koulovatos, 125 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns on offense, 12 total tackles on defense, 2 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss, but they lost. Great numbers. There was a tough loss. They lost by 2 to North Raleigh Christian. See his Twitter right there, A. Koulovatos. Really, really talented player. Over to Mooresville, another frequent one. Running back Jawarn Howell, 145 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns in the victory over Providence. They came back to win that game. That was a tough game down on the road at Providence. See his Twitter right there, at Howell Jawarn. If you watch this show, you know he's a talented young man. Really, really good size. Should be getting more college attention, in my opinion. He'll be a steal for somebody next year. He is a senior. All right, over to Hickory. Coach Natoli, former Independence coach, tweeted this out, and I started watching his highlights, and Man, he is an athlete. Wide receiver Deshaun Medley. 224 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had 78 rushing yards and a touchdown in their victory over St. Stephen's. His Twitter is at MED underscore Deshaun5. When I looked at his highlights, he's a deep threat. They connected quarterback Brady Stover is a talented young man as well. Hit him a couple times deep. He ran that a jet sweep for the majority of those rushing yards. But he gets into space, man. Nobody catches that kid, man. He is a playmaker. I was excited to see that. All right, back over to Porter Ridge. Defensive lineman Jason Hurts, 4 tackles, 5 quarterback pressures, and 3 pancakes playing both sides of the ball on the line. He also tipped the pass that Zajkowski had in the overtime for the interception. Really, really hard-working, hard-nosed offensive defensive lineman. Twitter's at Jason Hurts56. Good job, Jason. All right, over to Lake Norman. Young freshman getting it done. Athlete Moses Morris. He plays some receiver, plays some running back. 112 rushing yards, 85-yard kickoff return, 2 touchdowns, and over 200 total yards in the victory for Lake Norman. And to do that on varsity as a freshman, and he's been playing well all season long. But this is the first time we've kind of officially put him on Pepman's players. But I've been watching his highlights. He's going to be big time, man. He is going to be big time. His Twitter right there is at Moses Morris with a Z. Moses Morris. I'm excited to see him continue to develop and be a big part of an undefeated Lake Norman team who is going into a big game this week. We're going to talk about a little bit later on. All right, back to a regular Pepman player at Cannon. Running back Will Jones, 250 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns in their victory last week. He's got ACC interest. He picked up an offer, I believe, was from Columbia last week. He's got several other offers already. Twitter is at Jones underscore Will11. Really, really good player. We've talked about him before. One that is new to Pepman's players. RGKL, linebacker Austin Settles. 15 tackles and 2 sacks. That's great. That's a great defensive game. In the victory over Myers Park. You see his Twitter right there is at Austin Settles underscore. I know RGKL does not cheat on their stats. We talk about that a lot on this show. But those stats are legitimate. Great job, Austin, in getting that done right there. All right, we talked about Julian Crawley. We interviewed him right before the show, but you see what he did right there with the 4 total touchdowns of rushing, receiving, and 2 pick sixes in the victory over Northwood. For Person, you see his Twitter right there, at jcrawley1215. He's going to be a steal for somebody. You check out his film. He is a playmaker for sure. All right, now on to Providence. This one came in from a coach recommendation. Quarterback Jackson Debe. He's a freshman, making his first career varsity start for Providence. He threw 3 touchdown passes in that loss to Mooresville. And, to start as a quarterback, we just talked about Moses Morris, who's playing some running back and receiver. But to start at quarterback as a freshman on varsity is tough. That is tough stuff, man. And that's impressive. That's impressive. I've seen him, play in person when he was on JV. He's got the physical talent, man. He's impressive, good size, strong arm. He's going to be a real good one. You see his Twitter right there, at Jackson Debe. Make sure you get on him early, college coaches. Put that name down and then watch him because he's going to be special. All right. Over to Central Cabarrus, the home of Kenneth McClamrock. Wide receiver Adriel Miller had a great game. 7 catches, 197 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. But most importantly, he was named Homecoming King. You know how hard it is to win Homecoming King? I was never up for that kind of stuff. So great job to RGL. Great game. And then his quarterback, Caden Klein, also had a great game with 320 yards passing and 4 touchdowns in their victory. You see Adriel's Twitter right there, the official ADR1. Congratulations, Adriel, on a great, great night and performance on the football field. All right, back over to Morrisville. DB Jay Wilson. They were down in the 4th quarter. And he had a game-winning pick six that really, flipped the game, literally. Put them in the lead, and they didn't look back after that. He also had 6 tackles and 3 pass breakups in that victory. His Twitter is at J_Wilson3. To get a pick six, I'll tell you, it's nothing like a pick six to flip the momentum when you're down, man. It just puts a charge into your team, and Mooresville was able to ride that all the way to victory. Good stuff, man. Congratulations. All right, a repeat Pepman player from Olympic, wide receiver Sterling Green. Another good game. 162 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns, and it looks like he threw a touchdown pass as well. This was the week of double passes. In a victory over Palisades, you get into conference play, sometimes you pull out some trick plays based off of stuff you put on film, and a lot of the times those work pretty well. So his Twitter is at SterlingGreen9, and the Olympic Trojans remain undefeated on the season. And another guy from Olympic, and it was funny, Coach Hart tweeted out yesterday that no one has been talking about this kid, and he was already in the plans for me to talk about him tonight. And I told him, I said, Coach, you're going to hear about him tonight. And I know he's watching because, he was excited. I've been following this kid for a couple years now, ever since his JV days. The big thing about Manuel Cordray is he wants to be great. He works hard in the weight room. Really good technique. He's physical coming off the edge. He was all conference last year. And in this game against Palisades, he had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 quarterback hurries in that victory. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter at Manuel_Cordray. Really, really good young man. And deserves all the accolades and attention that's going to come his way. Congratulations, Manuel. Great job. A kid I talked about before the season over at Sun Valley, running back Tony McFadden, big game and a big win over Cuthbertson, a game that we all predicted wrong, by the way. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in that victory. His Twitter is at Tony McFadden1. He's a talented young man. I love watching his film. I think he's great. He's dynamic with the football in his hands, and had a great game last week. Congratulations, Tony. All right, over to Pine Lake, we had Coach Trotter on CFI After Dark on the special show last week. And he talked about this kid and was raving about him. Running back Noah Murphy, 31 carries for 231 yards and a touchdown in that big victory over previously undefeated Christ the King. His Twitter is at NMurphy2A. A lot of those Pine Lake guys go both ways. I believe Noah plays some defense as well. And, to do that with 31 carries for 230 yards, that's a special performance. And big players make big plays in big games. And that was a big game for Pine Lake. And they got a big win. So congratulations to Noah. Great job on that one, man. All right. Now, over to Cox Mill, who played on Monday night. That's why we had another slide. We had a Monday night game, and they had some guys that did very well. Linebacker Sam Coward, number 9. 10 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and an interception in that victory over A.L. Brown. I believe it was 58-35. His Twitter is at Sammy Cowher. I've read about him on Prep Red Zone. I think he's a physical throwback, old school. Stuff in the brains, middle linebacker and old school. Middle linebacker who's physical, really good against the run, and really tackles well at the point of attack. Good job to Sam. All right, now Providence Day, Coach Chad Greer sent me over some numbers. I picked these 2 guys out. Defensive back and athlete Brody Barnhart, punt return for a touchdown, 10 tackles, and a pass breakup. And their, I think it was 55-20 victory over Country Day. His Twitter is his name, at Brody Barnhart. He's got a lot of college attention and offers over there. On the younger side, Providence Day also has a talented running back. His name is Aiden Gallows. And he had 117 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in the victory. When I checked him out, he's very, very good in space. For a young kid, he's got really good vision. Looks like he was a kind of a heralded kid when he was in middle school. Excellent job. His Twitter is at Aiden Gallows. Good job, Aiden, on that. And we'll finish up with Cox Mill, who had some really good offensive performances Monday night. Quarterback Dymere Edwards, 335 yards passing and 5 touchdowns in their victory. His Twitter right there is his name, at Edwards Dymere. 6'3", strong arm quarterback who's smart, makes good decisions, and has good accuracy. Another one that should be getting more college attention, in my opinion. And then wide receivers Kendall Harris and Saxon Jenkins. Harris is a commit to Mercer. He had 294 total yards and 2 touchdowns. And then Jenkins, I saw when they played Mooresville, had a couple nice catches. He had a big game. 155 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns in the victory. You see their Twitters right there, at Kendall Harris 7 and at Saxon Jenkins 3. I believe Saxon is a junior. So college coaches, you need to jump on him because it looks like he's starting to break out for sure. Whew! Man, that's a lot of Pepman's players that are sponsored by VTO Sports. All right, well, Kenneth, it's just me and you, man. You got any thoughts on any of those guys we talked about?
A lot of big-time performances, Pat. A lot of dudes that should be coming to the Winter Showcase on December the 10th. And a lot of dudes that should be getting offers when they do come to the showcase on December 10th.
Absolutely. Had a let's see, we had a comment right here from Trayvon Gaither. This isn't any stats, but I want to shout out Ty Allison for the invite to the Blue Gray All-American. Well, there you go. That's good stuff, man. Blue Gray's been around for a while, and that's a great accolade to get invited to that. So congratulations, Ty. That's awesome, man. All right, well, I was told all of our people were coming tonight. They didn't say when, but they said they were coming. So we'll get started on a couple of storylines here. So first thing I want to talk about, how do we get public versus private non-conference matchups? I mean, this is something that we've been wanting for a long time, and I feel like, for the longest, it's been something that has been frowned upon for different reasons. One of the old school reasons is, there's going to be the private schools trying to recruit the public guys to come to their team. I don't really feel like that's the case as much anymore. But at least if we can get it in a scrimmage, I think that's one way. But it would be nice to see a regular season game, for example, between Providence Day and a Huff or a Chambers or one of the top public teams here in the area. But is there any way we can go about, getting these matchups done and on paper so, to give the fans what they want to see?
Pat, pre-COVID, most counties had kind of unwritten, maybe even written rules that said you have to schedule teams inside your county before you go outside the county. I remember being at North Mecklenburg and we wanted to play outside schools, and they told us we had to schedule guys inside CMS. And it's been that case at other places as well. And then, of course, COVID hit, and you're losing games on Tuesday and Wednesdays of game weeks, and you're scrambling to make up games. And a lot of those kind of unwritten gentlemen's agreements, old school kind of ways, kind of have fallen by the wayside. And I think that's why we've seen, especially with the top tier public school teams in the area, not only branch out among the state, but we're seeing them branch out and go out of state to play as well. I mean, 5 years ago, you never saw Charlotte teams go and play in South Carolina, Virginia, or Maryland. But now it's almost commonplace. Now we expect the Mallard Creeks and the Huffs and the Chambers. We expect those schools to do exactly that. So I think we're getting closer and closer, Pep. You got to have both schools being willing to do it, right? You've got to have both ADs being willing to do it, both head coaches. As a public school coach, if you're a big-time program in the state, you take a risk, right? It's kind of like scheduling Appalachian State. You take a risk in them coming and them beating you, right? And so there are some public school coaches who are probably hesitant of that. There are private school coaches who are hesitant because while we've talked about this, while they have 25, 26 really top-tier players, they don't have the depth that some of these other schools have as well. And so the fear is, of course, that, one or two guys go down, you don't have a backup to do it, and then the rest of your season is wasted, right? But I think that we're getting closer and closer to seeing it. I wouldn't be surprised if we see on some of these memorial stadiums, what they call it, the welcome back games the first week or two of the season. We've seen Dutch Sport come up. We've seen other schools come down. I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see some private schools in those mix as well, because I know that there are a lot of public school coaches who would like to finally once and for all shut up the private school hype, right? And then there are a lot of private school coaches who want to prove once and for all, and we've seen it, Charlotte Christian and Weddington, some of those types of schools, who want to prove that not only can they play, but they can beat the best of the best in North Carolina as well. So I think we're really close. I hope so.
Yeah, me too, man. All right, Big Shelby joining us. Welcome.
What's going on, man?
Good to see you, man.
You too, man. Ain't seen y'all in a while.
Whenever you're running around, putting up 75, 80, 100 points, you get tired, man. You got to take a break, relax, take a nap sometimes.
No, that ain't the case, man.
Joe Hughes weighing in. CFI kickoff classic loading.
There it is. Public versus private. PvP, baby.
Hey, I'm telling you, we can do it. We can do it. We hosted the big jamborees before, and be glad to
do it like us, Pep. We know that. Big
that's
Shelby. Who would we put Big Shelby against?
So public school versus private?
Yeah, what private school would Big Shelby like to play?
I have no idea, man. So I don't want it to be Providence Day.
There it is.
All right, well.
Not this year, no way.
Oh, gosh. Coach Haverkamp weighing in, saying it's really interesting as someone who came from the West Coast. We had games against out-of-state public versus private every season. Okay. I agree. I mean, you do look at other places, and it's not an issue. So, to your point, Kenneth, I think we are close. I think we've got the right people in place now to kind of make that stuff happen. Mm-hmm. Big Shelby, just saying you want Abbeville.
It's Abbeville. I don't think they're private though. I know they're a two-way school in South Carolina. I think they're pretty good too.
Okay. Well, good deal. So I'm scrolling through Twitter and I see a guy with a Twitter name. His Twitter name literally is not Matt Rule, and then it's at Coach Rule. And he says he thinks that they could go out and find a high school offense that would be better than what the Carolina Panthers are currently putting on the field. And I looked at it and I was like, well, that's interesting. So I wanted to bring that to you guys. Could a high school type of offense help the Carolina Panthers right now?
No. Not a high school offense. You just need to fire the OC, I think. Fire the OC. Probably fire the head coach. And because you got to think about high school offense ain't really complex. You got to think about NFL team playbook. You get a whole week to study that thing. Mm-hmm. Then, if you put a Shelby High offense on the Panthers, it doesn't really matter what you call. You got to have the people to run it. Then, you don't get 3 or 4 days like high school like you do in the NFL. You get more time, and you got to be able to actually scheme up people in the NFL. There's too many brilliant minds out there just to run hitches and curls and all verticals like high school offenses do. You send a little jet motion for jet sweep, they're gonna know that's coming every time you run it.
I don't know. Kenneth Clamlock kind of schemed up pretty good high school offense or two.
Pep, I saw you said we were going to talk about this. I just laugh because people are knuckleheads on social media, man. I mean, to think that these dudes can't coach they're just idiots. Let's put it bluntly. Now, that said, is Ben McAdoo having a very good season as an offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers? Absolutely not. I don't understand what he's doing. I don't understand why he's doing it. I've heard from people that maybe he's not the nicest person around. God knows he walked right past my two boys and they're hollering Coach Mack, and he didn't even look at them to sign their football. So he has a negative in my eye for that. But, I mean, can a high school offense help the Carolina Panthers? I mean, that's silly talk, man. I mean, Webb just said it, man. I mean, we're talking about the greatest defensive minds in the world. Now, we know forever and ever the NFL offenses have been bland and blah up until very recently. Thank you, Patrick Mahomes, for re-energizing the NFL offense. But that's just silly talk, man. That's not even worth the time it took you to type that on there. Fireman. I don't disagree with that statement, but that dude was an idiot, man.
All right, let's see. Patrick C. weighing in says, Coach Aaron Brand is someone that I could think could kill it with the Panthers. Well, I love AB. I really do, man. He's doing a great job at Irmo. He's completely turned that program around, man. They are state contenders down there. And his son, AJ, is doing a great job at quarterback. And I know, he's got bigger aspirations one day, but, he's kind of busy right now. Joe Hughes, Ben McAdoo failed in New York. Don't know why he's in Charlotte. Well, I had
the cheaper route.
Say what?
Probably was the cheaper route for the Panthers. I'm just calling for whoever pick up first. That's who we are.
They had that overhaul, right, where they were all Charlotte, or college. Everybody thought they were not a very good coaching staff because they were a college coaching staff, which is just stupid talk as well. But so they bring in all these older guys, all these veterans, the offensive line coach, the offensive coordinator, the defensive line coach, all these old guys to kind of balance out the staff. And, I just don't get it, man. I mean, you've got one of the top quarterbacks in the league in play action, not dropping back. He's a wild gunslinger, man. He's a worse gunslinger than Sam Darnold is. He just throws the ball up. And so now what's starting to happen is he's getting all these balls knocked down, and that's partly because of Ben McAdoo, because he's not changing his launch point. He's not rolling him out. He's not getting him outside of the pocket. He's got happy feet. He steps up, and they're doing all this quick game stuff. And then you combine that with when he gets 3 balls knocked down, well, now he's trying to overcompensate it. So when you look at his release point, now he's super high. And he's overthrowing guys. Like, I don't understand what Ben McAdoo is doing. I don't understand what the offensive line coach is doing, because there is a way to get defensive linemen's hands down. I don't see a lot of punches to the rib cage. I don't understand why we're not play action. I just don't get it. But the topic, next point.
Well, the problem is we got to run the ball to do play action.
I think CMC have 6 carries the other night.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Do we have any free tickets?
I mean, I'm hoping they get really low, because my boys really want to go to a Carolina Panthers game this year.
Well, trust me, if you want to go, just ask your local Carolina Panthers season ticket holder. I'm sure they'll be selling tickets, if not already, very soon. Because
now Jeremy Chin is on the IR. Xavier Woods is out for at least a little bit, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because the Panthers roster is very talented too, man.
Yeah, they actually fixed the offensive line, and we're not getting killed every time we drop back the pass, and we can run block, and it's disappointing, man. But in South Carolina, I think we got a shakeup going on. Catawba Ridge defeated South Point last week. They are undefeated. You'll see some changes when we get to the county rankings. Northwestern, I think, is the best team right now in the upstate, but Indian Land only has 1 loss. South Point is still very good with 2 losses. Joe Hughes, I know this is your wheelhouse, but we see the change in South Carolina. Is it time for someone to step up? Do you still believe in South Point to come back and get it done?
I think he said Joe Hughes. I was looking for Joe Hughes. South they're still the Kings, right? I mean, they're still the champs. They've got so much of their talent back. They've got so much explosiveness. They've got so much of the defense back. They're gonna right this ship, right? You lose, and all of a sudden everybody thinks that the sky is falling. It's not falling. Those guys are going to refocus in. They're going to have an incredible week of practice this week. I'm sure they've already had an incredible week of practice. And, South Point, man, they call it Football USA for a reason. They've had stud after stud after stud, man. High expectations in that place. But that's the kind of place you want to coach.
Absolutely. So Joe did weigh in saying South Carolina 4A is run by Florence right now. And I did see that South Florence is number 1 in the 4A poll. And then West Florence is ranked, I believe, 3rd or 4th in that same poll. And then you got Northwestern, you got Catawba Ridge, South Point, and Indian are all ranked in that poll as well. So, and then Joe Hughes Point right here, South Florence, West Florence, AC Flora out of Columbia, and then Ridgeview is out of Columbia area as well. So, a lot of good football down in South Carolina, especially in 4A. So that's gonna be a fun playoff season once we get there for sure, man. All right, then our last question or storyline this week: does social media right now really help your recruiting during the season? Now, and I saw dissenting points of view on this when I was scrolling through social media, ironically. So, Kenneth, I'll go to you on that.
Yes and no, Pep. Right? Like,
Yeah.
I've been watching some of the college coaches' feeds, and you got these bull crap clout chasers where they're trying to get follows, right?
Yeah.
Dogs, drop your film, and you see knuckleheads just posted. It doesn't even make any sense. Coach, I'm the best dog there is. I'm a 5'3" corner that weighs 119 pounds. Like, you ain't no dog, and you ain't the best there is. This time of the year, I think is really tough. You've sent out your first 4 games. College coaches have evaluated. I don't think you need to put your film out every single week. I keep saying this. After week 4, after week 8, and then at the end of the season. You don't need to send it to coaches any more than that. You just don't. And when you're just posting stuff and you're saying, hey, retweet this so that I can get a scholarship offer. Well, ain't none of your friends and band in the French club got any college coaches that are following them. Like, that's the silly talk. Like, let's just worry about playing football, man. Let's worry about being on Huddle. Be on Huddle as much as you're on Twitter trying to follow these coaches and tweet at these coaches. Let your coach, expect your coach, ask your high school coach. Once again, what have you done for me this week? What colleges have you talked to me this week? But just posting stuff on Twitter, posting single games on Twitter makes no sense to me at all. Posting single games does not do you a whole lot of good, because chances are if you post game 6, you had better plays in games 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a whole, as a collective group. I think that it helps kids to feel better about themselves, maybe. I don't think it helps them get recruited always.
All right, Big Shelby, we're talking about if posting on social media helps your recruiting during the season.
It's kind of hard. I mean, I agree with Kenneth too, because it's one of those things where, like, you sitting at the coaches, and coaches are in season 2 in college, and they're probably not really watching the film until their bye week. Well, it doesn't hurt necessarily to send it, but I don't think it's going to help right now. Well, I think the players, like you said, just leave it in your coach's hands and tell your coaches, hey, these are certain schools I want to look at, and just let your coaches send it out, man, because college coaches probably look at it too, like, why is this kid DMing me at 11 o'clock and he's supposed to be in class or something like that? So you just never know. You just never know how college coaches look at certain things. But, I don't think it'll help. I don't think it'll hurt. But, I lean on my coaches right now during season more so than player.
So all this being said, you guys, I hope you're listening. I hope you're taking notes. For that reason, it is important that you sign up for the Winter Showcase. And yes, we keep talking about it. But yes, we want you to get offers. We want you to get exposure, legitimate exposure. Because as Kenneth said, you got a lot of clout chasers out here saying drop your film, and all they're doing is trying to run their numbers up for their own clout. This is legitimate, in-person college coach evaluations. And, we've proven that with the HBCU showcase, they're going to be here. And you're going to have a, great chance to perform, because we don't have crazy numbers. We're not trying to get 1,000 people out here. There are limits at every position. And if you want your best chance to be exposed directly to guys that make decisions, not just some, low-level assistant. We're talking about head coaches. We're talking about coordinators. We're talking about position coaches that can make decisions and offer on the spot. The Winter Showcase, December 10th, Mallard Creek High School. Go to charlottefootballinsiders.com. Sign up, okay? Because I'm telling you, the numbers keep going up and up and up every day. the schools committing to come keep going up and up and up every day. And as Maurice Macon said, Cam Macon registered for the showcase. And yes, he's telling the truth. I did not pay him to say that. That is a fact. He's a talented wide receiver that's a junior at Berry. It's only for juniors and seniors. Make sure to get that done, because when you're sitting there and on December 1st and we're sold out and you send us that DM saying, do you have space? Can you make space? We can't do it.
Nah, we ain't your English teacher that's letting you turn in 8 weeks of homework the last day. It ain't happening. We're going to be out of space.
I mean, it happened in May, man. It's going to happen again in December. I promise you.
And then, guys, there's one
go
more
ahead,
thing
Coach.
about the recruiting thing, too. You need to understand as well, like the guys that have, like Matt saying, Pepman saying, they say drop your film. I'm looking for dogs. I'm looking for ballers. That may be true, but each coach, assistant coach, when they bring film to the head coach, they don't have the time to show. Each position coach don't get to show 20 people. So they probably only get to, when I did it, when I was a graduate assistant, they told us on our film day, show us 3 or 4 people right now that you think that can deserve an offer. So that's 3 or 4 people across all 50 states, really. And even like the JUCO guys, anything like that, they don't have time to watch 50 kids from one position coach. And each kid, you get graded, you get like a color grade, and that determines which film they're going to watch, and it's going to determine how much money we're going to give you, and that's going to determine like the priority you are when it comes to your film. So you may be a good player, yes, but whenever coach go in there and watch your film, you may not be in the red. And when I was there, the red was like those guys we're trying to give all the money to if we can. So, just be patient, man. And I'm not saying don't send your film out till when the coach drop it up under there, but I don't know. I can't promise you the chance that somebody's going to see it. So just come to the showcase where the coach is going to be there face to face, ball out, then they'll talk to you. Easy.
There you go. A couple other things right here. Benji Moose saying getting the FAFSA done is also important. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I retweeted from Omar Porter at Crest. Free application week's coming up in North Carolina, October 17th through 21st. So that's a time where you can apply to schools for free. And that's very important. And there's schools that you are interested in. They want you to have the application done. Okay, so that's an important part of the process as well. So good information right there from everyone right here. For sure. Jason Bass talking about social media. If it's done correctly, it can help, but very marginally. Absolutely. Across the river, if done correctly and coaches explain how to use Twitter, it can be helpful. Now that's a key part right there. I think a lot of kids don't know how to use Twitter the best way possible for them to get the maximum exposure.
Like, for example, coach, check out my film. But you don't know who it is. I ain't looking at that. No one's looking at that. Who are you? What do you play? What year are you? Where are you from? How big are you? What's your GPA? What are your test scores?
And I'll tell you, man, I'm getting tagged in so much film now. And I can understand how these college coaches feel, because I'm trying to look at film because, I got a big thing coming up on Prep Red Zone that it's a series that you're going to see come out from us. And it's going to be kind of like a mid-season highlight, and I'm highlighting a bunch of players. And I'm trying to go through all these films, and it's a lot. It's a lot, man. And you got to, and I know we talked about this several times, it feels like, but when you send your film out, man, put your best plays first. Best plays first, because then people don't have time, man, to sit there and watch 2 and 3 minutes. I know it sounds crazy, but they really don't have time to sit there and watch your whole film or 2 or 3 minutes or whatever. You got to get someone's attention quick. And if you don't, they're on to the next one. Because, I'm telling you now, I'm trying to do it just for, our area. And it's hard. It's hard. And I don't have a lot of time either. So.
And your games 1 through 4, your games 1 through 6 should be your pinned tweet at the very top. You should have a link to it in your bio. You should have your name. You should have your year. You should have your position. You should have your school name. Don't have SHS. Have the entire school name, because there are 1,000 SHSs out there. Got to be smart. Got to be smart.
Ultra producer talking about smart people.
Yeah, I upgraded since the last show, so got a new title.
Man.
Leveled up. One level up, man. So here I am.
Well, we just talked about these topics on the screen. You got any comments on that?
I think a Pop Warner offense running the annexation of Puerto Rico would be better than the Carolina Panthers offense right now. Okay? Okay?
All right.
That's how I feel about that.
All right.
Shake up in South Carolina, quite possible, but you never really, just when you think a team is gone or sliding, they fool you. I would like to certainly see more public versus private non-conference matchups, but I guess it happens, so I guess there's just a little bit of red tape to sort through, but I hope that comes to fruition because that would be nice. Like, I would like to see maybe even private school, hey, play one, put one public school on your schedule, every year or something like that. Something. I think that would be cool, man, if it was kind of set like that or some sort of tradition. And in today's society, social media is instrumental in recruiting based on just how things, it's just easy lines of communication. It's not the 80s where you gotta put videotape together and mail it out with a letter or something like that. That's one of the positives of social media is recruiting. It can be a useful tool if used properly. It can be detrimental at the same time too. We've seen kids, let's just say, put out less than ideal things that might hurt their image on their social media. But if used properly and following Mr. McClanrock's tidbits that he drops weekly, I think it's instrumental, man. And I really, in all seriousness, I hope kids are listening to that, man. Short and sweet tapes, all your good plays up front, your whole school out. I hope that's registering with kids, man, because those are easy things to do to make your tape better. So yeah, I think that definitely does help.
All right, so a couple comments right here. Cornelia Street, Victory Christian used to play Marvin Ridge. So what I'm talking about is it's more of a CMS thing, where CMS doesn't allow public-private matchups to occur. I should have put CMS on there because I know out of the county, like Weddington and Christian play. Weddington's play Providence Day, for example. So those matchups happen. So it's more of a CMS, type of deal on that public-private matchup. So, yeah, outside the county, yes, it does happen.
So has there ever been a public reason given, like why they're against that? I mean, it usually boils down to money, but
to help fill schedules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because there are certain schools that would be, this is pre-COVID, right? We're talking about certain schools that would be tougher to fill their schedule for one reason or the other because they're on either side of the spectrum, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, and we got a visitor to the show, McClanrock Brothers.
Hey.
They're not even home right now.
Well, the power of social media, they are watching the show.
Social media game strong for them. You do.
All right. So, obviously, I think, McClanrock's recruiting tidbits may become a new segment on the show. So.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Ultra Producer.
I think a little special, it doesn't have to be weekly, but just a little special engagement where he just puts it all together and have the kids be able to ask questions. Might be something to do.
All right, well, we'll look at it. All right, now it's time for the Baker's Dozen, sponsored by the Queen City Senior Bowl. Make sure, seniors, you register for the opportunity to be selected for the Queen City Senior Bowl. Very important that you do so. Made a post today, and we got 30 more seniors that registered, so y'all quit wasting your time, man. Just get it done. It takes literally 30 seconds to fill out the form. And one thing, if you're filling out the form, I know it's not required, but if you don't put your huddle on there,
God, dog.
It's hurting your chances, man. It's hurting your chances. Think about how, and we just talked about it, how are you going to stand out? Because it's not just me looking at this. There's a committee of people that look at this, and I'll tell you, the committee does not have time to sit there and intimately know the fact that you play inside linebacker for a team and that you're pretty good. I may know it and I can tell them that, but we look at the film. If your film's not there, it's really going to hurt your chances, man. It's really going to hurt your chances. So the vast majority do put their film, though, so I appreciate that. But go to QueenCitySeniorBowl.com. Make sure you register. The selection show will be toward the end of the month, and the registration will close in a couple weeks. So if you're watching this show, you've got a talented senior, and you live in the eligible area, Mecklenburg, Gaston, Cleveland, Cabarrus, Union counties, make sure you go and register it today.
So is Motown on the included areas now that they're included in this Dirty Baker's Dozen list? Or
we've had players from Mooresville before, but it is a case-by-case basis with schools like Mooresville and Lake Norman.
We're trying to expand the brand. Yep.
Well, I've said this before. The problem is you can't expand it too far because there's no housing with the game. You have to come to practice every day and then go back home. So if we got a sponsor, if you give me one of those big money sponsors in Shelby that want to put enough money out there to provide housing for the Queen City Senior Bowl, we can definitely expand the area because then people can come and then they stay. So come from anywhere.
I'll tell you right now, we give a sponsor to Shelby, you might well just put our whole offense on offense and don't get nobody else.
So what?
Thank you, Big Show.
But anybody that's watching that wants to donate and help the Queen City Senior Bowl out and get it as big, if it's not already bigger than the Shrine Bowl, you know what I'm saying? Help us out. Help them out. Not help us, sorry. Help Pepman and the crew out, those guys that's over it. So, they might can get to spend 3 days in Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? 3 or 4 days or a week in Charlotte and then go play.
Anything's possible. We got some big plans this year. Big plans I can't talk about yet.
Speaking of big plans, the burning question. Have you picked out a suit for the special when you announce it? Have you picked out your suit, man, for the announcement special? You got your suit picked out.
Oh man, we'll see. We
I'm
might pull out something different this year.
Email Cam Newton, man. He'll help you out, man.
God, dog.
I'm trying to find a teal blazer. That might go.
Hey, how about you just on a selection show, man? Y'all should just bring us on, man. We can help give comments on the kids, man.
Yep. Oh, and
it's an option.
Shelby guys don't have to practice. They just need to be there for the game. Shelby guys don't need practice, man.
Don't say that. Please don't say stuff like that. Because someone will come back and say, well, somebody said on your show that we don't have to come. So
I'm not on the selection special, so
still, it don't matter. Anyway.
Somebody would really
on
think
topic. In the Baker's Dozen, we didn't have any changes in the top top 9. Christian lost to Rabun Gap, so that drops them from where they were at 10 to the edge. South Point moves up to 10, Olympic to 11, Mooresville to 12, and RGK comes off the edge to 13. Still on the edge this week, we got Burns, Lake Norman, Christian, and Hickory Ridge. Any thoughts on the Baker's Dozen?
I'm waiting to see Shelby on the edge, man.
You told me to wait till the end of the season.
I know, I'm just playing, man. What happened to Matt? What? I think Mallet Creek deserves to be up a little higher, man.
Okay.
I'm a Mallet Creek advocate, man. I wish our bye week. I wish our bye
down
week.
though. I was thinking that
down?
too, but I couldn't decide who I wanted to move. I thought the same thing for a second, but I couldn't
I'll move
decide.
Wednesday down.
Who?
I'll move Wednesday down. I will tell you this though: the 3A playoffs for our side of the bracket is going to be very, very fun to watch.
We're gonna start looking at playoffs next week with the RPI rankings. I've been waiting because I think right now it's still a little early, but we'll start looking at it next week.
Did y'all see what they have us on the RPI rankings? Have you seen that, Pep?
Yeah, I've seen it, but
That's the big spreadsheet, right?
Ooh, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll start looking at it next week and then going into the end of the season. All right, let's see here.
I think South Point is, I think South Point can be a little. South Point is going to keep growing. I think it's going to be hard for South Point to necessarily move up as much as they win, only because they're not going to be able to. If you had to break it down and say it's 4 or 5 undefeated teams, they're not necessarily looking to score 30 and 40 points in the game. So eventually get to break down a point. I mean, I think South Point is very good. The Kings Mountain South Point game is going to be very good this Friday night. I'll be there for that one. I ain't going to be doing no coverage, though. But I'll be there.
Okay.
You got to appreciate that honesty.
Hey, I want you to interview Mark Petty after the game.
Hey, but not Pep, but I'm sure Joe Hughes is going to be there. So I do want to break in my CFI official badge to go to a game and record some film and do some interviews. I don't know when it's going to happen, guys. I know y'all want Big Shelby there, but we plan on playing to the end of the day just like y'all. So, and if we lose, I'm probably going to be pissed off for a couple of weeks. So I don't really know when I'm going to be able to come interview you guys. But I want to come do it, though.
Thank you, Big Shelby. That was good stuff, man. All right.
So. Y'all get all the free gear. Y'all get all the free gear and everything, all type of stuff, man.
Free gear? What you talking about?
Y'all be going places getting T-shirts and free food and all type of stuff.
Who?
Y'all do, man.
What?
I got like 3 shirts over here for you. I just hadn't seen you.
No, I'm talking about when y'all go to other people's games and stuff. Don't you got like a Huff shirt, Pep?
No. What is
he talking about?
That was Cherie used to get some hoodies, though. Cherie used to get some hoodies.
Yeah,
Cherie bought everything she had. She bought that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think none of that was complimentary.
I thought people just love CFI, man. I didn't know.
You thought we was like rock stars?
Oh, that is funny.
I thought like rock stars coming to the game, man.
Nah, man, please. We're lucky to just get in. Half the time, people look at us like we're crazy.
Let's give them a shout out. The guys at Hickory Ridge did give us some food one time. Yes, they did.
Oh yeah, that's true. That did happen.
Shout out to them if they're watching. Yeah, shout out to them. We'll give credit when it's due. They did. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go to the county rankings. There were some changes in the county rankings. So, all right, so Mecklenburg is pretty much standard. Huff, Chambers, Providence Day, Catholic. In the upstate, we talked about the changes that we're going to make. Northwestern is at 1, Catawba Ridge 2 with the head-to-head win over South Point, who is now 3. Indian Land is now number 4. In Gaston County, South Point 1, Forest View 2, Stuart Kramer 3, Ashbrook 4. Cleveland's been pretty much the same for a while with Kings Mountain, Burns, Crest, and Shelby. Union County, we got Weddington, Porter Ridge at 2 with the head-to-head win over Monroe. And then Forest Hills at 4. Monroe, Forest Hills. We're excited to see that game later on this season. And then in Cabarrus, Hickory Ridge. And Cabarrus keeps moving around, man. It's a tough one to peg. We got Hickory Ridge, Cox Mill, J.M. Robinson, and Northwest Cabarrus. So what do you guys think about that?
I will go on the record and say for Cleveland County, Kings Mountain is scary good. I really don't know how. I don't know how long they're gonna be. I don't know how long they're gonna be in the season this year. As far as playoffs go, I don't really know what round or whatever. But that defense they have and that D line they have, coached by Coach Kennedy, man, them 4 guys right there are amazing to watch. I will say that. I will give Kings Mountain credit right there. I normally don't. But I'm turning over a new leaf. I've been getting back in my Bible more, going to church more. So I am being open. I'm being positive on it. Positive vibes. Got to give credit when it's due.
That's awesome, Big Shelby. Appreciate that. I'm proud of you, man.
I know that took a lot, man. So yeah, that is growth.
It definitely takes a lot to talk about that. That's cool down there. But I will say, man, I really think that I know I even told some of their fans and coaches I hope that they can get a big playoff game at their stadium because I don't think I don't think they've been able to do that yet because they've been on the road some of the bigger games.
Mm-hmm.
But I would have loved to see what it looks like at Kings Mountain for a big time playoff game.
Yeah, it's a nice stadium out there. That's for sure. Let's see here. We got a couple comments. Coach Trotter might have a few shirts in the closet. Hey!
Well, he didn't have any shirts for me last week.
I'll take a shirt.
Well, I guess we have to go to Pine Lake soon. Coach, just keep them shirts on standby, man. We'll be up there and pick them up. You know, I'll wear it on the show. I mean, I'm the only one on the show that wears the CFI shirt.
I'd wear it.
I got like 8. I gave y'all like 18 shirts. But.
Hey, I need a new black T-shirt. I got something on it painting, and it won't come out. I got the white one, but I gotta keep it clean. Can't wear that every Wednesday, man. I gotta keep it clean, man.
You got to keep it fresh, huh?
And I got the polo. Yeah.
I got some more shirts for you, man.
What school did Coach Trotter at?
Pine Lake.
Yeah, man, 6-0.
Pine Lake Prep, baby. Yeah, I wear some rocks from Pine Lake Prep, man.
He said it was an away game, Kenneth.
Yeah, Ken, if they ain't bringing all that extra gear on,
He didn't leave from his closet. He said they were in his closet.
All right, Coach, we'll take that up with you after the show.
Any school that wants to give me some gear, I will wear it. But even more importantly, if you give me some U sizes, my boys will rock it. Everywhere we go, we got to get a shirt for.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get them some Chevy shirts then, man.
That's what I need. Some big Lions heads on it.
There you go.
They got to come back to the den, man. We're running out of home games.
The jungle shut down.
Joe Hughes, Gaston County, #1 South Point. Then there's the Cliff.
Joe is tough, baby.
I'm telling you.
Hey, what,
man.
man?
Gracious. Sheesh.
Come
on, Joe.
I think Ashbrook is too, though, only because they've shown. I think the other teams in Gaston County just need to be more consistent because some of them got real good defense, then the offensive struggle, then some got real good offenses, then the defensive struggle. So I think the other ones are just battling consistency right now.
Engine Benji Moose has a question for you. Would you even wear K-Town gear?
You know, I will tell you this. My boys were upset that we had not been to a K-Town game yet. They wanted to go last week. I ended up going to see Pine Lake Prep play at Christ the King. So we made it up on Monday night. And, they could wear a K-Town green, but we all know there's a better looking color green out there than that Kelly green. It's an ugly green.
You know, I wanted to ask McLaren like that, but I didn't. So I'm glad someone else did. I was literally thinking that question.
Guaranteed my boys are wearing shirts from some school that we have visited recently right now. Guarantee it, 100%.
Can they wear an adult small?
They do wear adult smalls. Ken James.
All right, I got some CFIs.
They'll wear anything, man. You see the guns on those boys, man. They're going to go. You see no studs, man.
All right. Let's go to the most controversial poll on Instagram. I hadn't posted it yet. I've been trying to post it ahead of the show, but I forgot to do it today. Well, it's been pretty good, man. All right, CMS Best of Last, ranking of all CMS football programs. On the left side, not too many changes, man. Huff, #1, Chambers 2, Mallard Creek 3, Indy 4, Butler 5, Olympic 6, RGKL 7. So when I was doing this, 1 through 7, I think, is a distinct tier, and that's something I used to talk about when I did this in the past. There's some distinct tiers here. 1 through 7, we know are really good football teams, and then you got the mid tier, kind of 8 through, I'd say maybe 13 or 14 is that kind of like that second tier there, starting off with West Charlotte, and then on down to West Meck, North Meck, Providence, South Meck, Myers Park, Hopewell. And then 15 through 20, you got the rest right there. The big mover this week was Harding, moving up to 16 with the big win at Berry that we were at last week. Hopewell put a pretty good charge into West Charlotte, taking them to double overtime.
So that's where I'm going to stop you right there, Pep.
Go ahead.
we went into double overtime with West Charlotte and Hopewell, and you got 6 gaps in between them.
Yeah, well, it's kind of it's
So
tough.
do you have Hopewell ranked too low, or do you have West Charlotte ranked too high? Or is it just a fluke game? Did one team have 7 starters out? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean the details behind it is tough because there wasn't a ton of coverage of that game, but I mean everyone in that 8 to 14 range is pretty dang on close, man. And you start looking at it, Myers Park, had a tough loss to RGKL. South was on a bye. Providence was leading Mooresville in the fourth quarter. And then North had a tough loss to Mallard Creek. But this is about the whole total scope of the season. And it's a tough balance versus, reaction to what happened last week versus what they've done all year. Obviously, that shows Hopewell is on an upward trend right there with Coach Gentry and those guys, and that's awesome. But at the same time, you look at the full season, West Charlotte's had an overall better season so far to this point, compared to Hopewell. So, yes, Joe Hughes, it is complicated. Thank you for that quote right there. All right, let's see. Any other thoughts on the best of last? I don't know where the chat administrator is tonight, but
I was just thinking that.
They
He
scored
must-
20 points last week, man. They gotta get the scoreboard clear, man.
People in the chat just running free.
there's a lot of interesting
Got all
stuff being
type of
said.
sprays.
Yes, and Andrew Brewer, that is right. Olympic had a big win over Palisades, 48-0, absolutely. Cornelius Street saying Butler should be 3. Cornelius, what's your thought process on that?
Joe is funny, bro.
Yeah, I know. I can't put all that up there. So, Cornelius, I love to hear your reasoning on Butler being at 3 because I tell you, once I moved Mallard Creek to 3, everyone thought the poll was perfect. But we know we're not perfect on this show. So, I'd love to hear the reasoning on that. 1 point loss. Well, yeah, the 1 point loss. But when you look at it, let's look at New Hanover. Let me see how New Hanover's doing this year. So that's the argument there, because the New Hanover loss, was a surprise, and when you look at their performance so far this year overall, well, they're a pretty good football team. Did y'all know that New Hanover is 6-1? They're 4-0 in their conference. Their loss was the first game of the season in New Bern, who was a state title contender. And they lost 40-3. But ever since then, they've been playing pretty well.
That's a heck of a turnaround.
And they've got a big game against Laney, who's 4-2, out in Wilmington. So when they play Hoggard, at the end of the season, we know that'll be a real big test because Hoggard's 5-1, and they're the standard out there in Wilmington. So. But the fact that New Hanover is pretty good, that kind of, that helps. That helps the argument for sure. And yeah, New Bern is undefeated, yep. And they got one of the best defensive linemen in the Southeast, and Sampson out there, committed to Florida State. So, and when we start looking at playoffs, we start taking a look on the East side, and they're one of the big contenders to come out of the East. And we know that's a proud program out there when they used to go up against Independence back in the day and give them fights in the state title game. All right, let's go on to our Week 8 game previews. And we know Joe Hughes is going to be there. Big Shelby, you said, are y'all off or something?
Yeah, we got a bye week. Yeah, we got
okay.
Bye week. Had our last day of practice today, baby. Finally get some time to rest.
All right. So go ahead and talk about South Point and Kings Mountain, man. What you excited to see Friday night?
Uh, I'm excited to see Kings Mountain's front four go against South Point's rushing attack. I'm anxious to see what they're going to do personnel wise because I know they moved AJ Richardson down to D line. So I wonder if he's going to go back and play middle linebacker this week and let one of those other ends that they've been playing develop and let him play more on that front four. I'm excited to see. I think this is South Point's biggest game, biggest test yet, because it's at Kings Mountain. South Point has still that rushing attack, man, and how they block up front. There's nothing you can simulate for in practice. There's nothing you can do really to get ready for, but to watch film and just keep telling them how much read your keys, do your job. You got to keep doing your job. You got to hit the fullback every play. Quarterback pitches, make sure you hit the quarterback, make them feel you every play. Um, I feel like Keys Mountain will have to score points on offense. They're gonna have to find a way to get ahead in the game early on offense. And Keys Mountain defense has to keep doing their job and keep being sound and keep playing and playing all 4 quarters because South Point is not a team that you can just stop playing against. Remember my senior year, we played South Point for the first time. I think we was up maybe 14 or 17 at one point, led up a little bit, 3 plays, and they're back in the game or they're back on top. So this is a great game for both teams. I feel like they'll see each other again in the playoffs. Not really know. I think this game will determine where that game is going to be at in the playoffs. But yeah, I think it's going to be an absolute slugfest. I'm sure that Kings Mountain may try to throw maybe one of the old linemen to play D line just to give somebody a blow inside.
Mm-hmm.
South Point will have to win. South Point is going to run the clock, so whenever Keith Mountain get a chance to score, they have to capitalize on offense. And I also think they will need a defensive touchdown, maybe, or some type of maybe 2 turnovers to help them win this game as well.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Um, doesn't miss a show. Doesn't miss a show. Good to see you, Mark Queen. Big game on Friday. Of course, he says Kings Mountain by 20. Of course, he says that.
But I'm sure. But I know their fans want this game, man. They beat us. They beat a lot of other teams going on this run. So they're just looking to keep improving, getting better. I think this is one of their statement games. After South Point being crushed last week, will be a statement game.
Yeah.
Kings Mountain, and they can just come in and just win the game or blow them out if that's what they want to do. I think this is just a big statement game for them and for their conference and for playoff hopes.
Absolutely. So, of course, noted South Point fan Tommy Wilson says South Point by 3. So he's predicting a close game down to the end.
It's hard to win at South Point, so I'm happy the Kings Mountain get this game at home.
So one of the things that I noticed last week when we looked at South Point and Crest, and I've got to put those highlights out there. Something Productions did a great job from last week. We talked about Crest and them attacking them in the passing game, but South Point did a really good job in slowing down the Crest passing game. So I'm thinking for Kings Mountain, do they want to really attack running the football up against South Point? Because I think that's more their strength, with their offense, big offensive line, and some of the guys they have back there in the backfield. I think that's going to be their main method of attack here against that Red Raider defense. Because they've shown if you go and spread and you're trying to throw it around, usually you have success against those guys, but not this year. Their secondary did a really good job last week.
I think South Point does a real good job. I haven't really got to see any film on it, but I've seen clips or highlights and things like that. I think South Point does a good job of tackling in space. Their safeties and linebackers do a good job, and corners do a good job. But I don't think they've seen the type of speed Kings Mountain has yet. Kings Mountain they can rotate 4 running backs. They can put different people at receivers and have different type of speed. So I don't know if South Point has seen the type of speed that Kings Mountain has. But that'll just challenge Kings Mountain to showcase their talent. I feel like both coaches on both sides of this game will have a good game plan going in. I think if Kings Mountain can win, this game will get ahead, they'll probably get into that big package that they did against us when A.J. Richardson's in the backfield. So Kings Mountain will do things like that. That's what they have to do. It's very tough to stop in general. So, I think it's both of them going to have to tackle in space. But I want to see if South Point can get on top of Kings Mountain speed because they can hit you in multiple ways with different people.
So we're going to bring on the expert in Gaston and Cleveland County. For the third week in a row, he's joining us on camera. Joe Hughes.
Oh, Lord. How y'all?
What's up,
Good.
man?
Good.
What you got on this big game?
Yeah. Actually, I kind of think it's actually going to be played in the phone booth, to be honest. Both of these teams really like to be physical, really like to impose their will. And then you look at kind of Kings Mountain, they're almost even in everything. I think they average 155 in pass, 148 in the run. Of course, South Point they're almost run fundamental with that red bone offense. So that's kind of a wash. And I really think it's going to end up being a carbon copy of what last year's game was. South Point did its thing. I think Tyson Riley ran for 200 yards last year, but it was a 7-7 game until the fourth quarter, and Kings Mountain made 2 or 3 great defensive plays, and they were able to run away with it. I kind of see it being that way this year. I'm not going to sit here and say that who's going to make a big defensive play or anything like that, but I really think it's going to be a really, really nip-tuck game you're not going to see 30 points in this football game. I really don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know you're going to be there. Big Shelby is going to be there.
He's working. He's working, man. Hey, I'm putting him to work, man. He got to earn his keep now. Shoot, yeah. I'm usually the one trying to keep them good, man. He got to return the favor in this case.
I got you. Man. You know what sideline we got sitting on?
Yeah. We got to deal with Chief Petty, man. We got to deal with Chief Petty.
Speaking of Chief Petty, he says they're putting up 30, Joe.
Man, that's my guy, man. That's my guy. Hey, he's gonna be happy and smiling regardless of what happened, man. That's one of those guys that you just like to be around. He's a very joyful cat, like to have a lot of fun. So it's always good to see him, man.
Absolutely, appreciate you, Mark Wayne. Thanks for the love always, man. All right, real quick, because we are way behind schedule. So Porter Ridge at Weddington. We saw Porter Ridge defeat Marvin Ridge in overtime last week. Weddington's been on the roll. They beat Mecklenburg County out of Virginia last week. I think it was 56-0 was the final score. Obviously big keys in this one. Weddington was really good throwing the football, man. So Porter Ridge got to, find a way to stop the passing game of Weddington. Conversely, we know what Porter Ridge does. They're really good at running the football with Zayakowski and Kennedy. Zayakowski kind of getting the inside tough yards, Kennedy getting the outside yards, kind of off that option pitch, sweeps, things of that nature. So kind of two different types of styles of attack, but, rivals in Union County. Usually they're, among the best teams in the county. We got them ranked 1 and 2 in Union County per our ranking. So it's a big game down there. Sure, it'll be a huge crowd. And it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. All right, the Kenneth. He got 2 big games in his wheelhouse this week. North Stanley and Robinson, and then Lake Norman at Hickory Ridge. You're on mute.
Boys were being loud. I had to mute it. Great game last year was in the rain. It was at North Stanley. Obviously, me and the boys went up there. North Stanley played their butts off. North Stanley doesn't have all their pieces back from last year, but they have several of their pieces back. They've got a big defensive tackle, Watkins. Of course, they've got the linebacker, Jackson, that we've highlighted before. North Stanley's not putting up the numbers offensively that maybe they've been used to the last couple of years, but they're still having a really good year. I believe they're 4-2 right now. They lost against North Rowan, and they lost to Ledford, I believe. Typically teams with pretty good athletes. Robinson obviously is having a heck of a year. Pep, producer, we saw them in week 1. They're 5-1, I believe. Obviously, they've got the stud kid that plays tight end and defensive end, Hobbs. They've got a pretty good little wide receiver. They've got a pretty good offensive line. They have a really good defensive front. This is a little rivalry game, right? I mean, these are two teams that are kind of the tops when you add Mount Pleasant, the top 3 teams of the league, and they both want to win. They both want to prove that they're the best team in the league, and I'm expecting it to be a really good game on Friday night. Me and the boys will be at this game as well.
All right. And then Lake Norman going into Hickory Ridge, a big game in the Greater Metro 4 Conference. Lake Norman undefeated on the season. Hickory Ridge has kind of been up and down, but they're coming off a big win over South Iredale.
One thing that we know about Hickory Ridge is they do not back down from competition. And regardless of the offense, right, they're not going to be afraid of this offense. They've seen it. They've won against it. They've played extremely well against it. To me, the big key will be, can Hickory Ridge get their playmakers the ball? In the games that they've struggled, they haven't always been able to do that. But can the big quarterback hit his stud wide receivers? And can Hickory Ridge's defensive front play key football? Can they honor their keys? Can they not let their eyes start wandering? But can they play good, sound assignment football? And that's going to be the key for them. But I think Lake Norman is 6-0, Pep, is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, they're having a heck of a year right now.
Yeah, so I remember covering this game when they played at Lake Norman, I believe, last year. And Christian Hamilton had a heck of a game, man. He scored like 3 or 4 times that I can remember off the top of my head. So I think for Lake Norman, the big key is they can't give up big plays because, the way they run their offense is all about time of possession and, trying to, make that the focus of the game. And when you give up big plays, it just, it just kills you because you hold the ball for 6 minutes, drive and score a touchdown. And I remember last year, literally, it was a one play, and then Hickory Ridge just got it right back. They hit Christian Hamilton on the screen, and he took it like 80 yards. So you can't give up big plays if you're Lake Norman. You got to make Hickory Ridge earn it. But we know one of the big things with Hickory Ridge this year is their big plays with the quarterback hitting those receivers in Hamilton and Harris over the top for big time gains. So that's gonna be a fun game, and it's a really important game for the conference race as well. And then the game me and producer are gonna be at North Mech at West Mech. This is an important game for the playoffs because when you start getting down, you start looking at the RPI and you start looking at who could those wild card teams be. Both of these teams are in the mix for that. And I think at this point of the season, this could be a loser leave town match when you're talking about, can you be in consideration for the playoffs? We've seen West Mech. They had a great start, but they're kind of struggling since they had that 4-0 start. And North Mech is coming off a tough loss, to Mallard Creek. So I've seen West Mech in the preseason in the Gaston County Jamboree. I haven't seen North Mech's varsity. I've seen their JV. So it'll be exciting to see, both of these teams play face to face. A lot of great athletes on both sides of the ball for these respective teams. Ultra producer, what are you excited to see in this one?
Just sort of see if either of the teams, like you say, to see if that sort of back against the wall mentality shows itself because, it's kind of, like you said, a win here goes a long way for helping you sneak in the playoffs. And, obviously, flip side of that is a loss hurts your chances. So I want to see how that sort of plays into this, see if that motivates them. And you talked about tiers earlier. Well, these are two teams that are trying to kind of move themselves from that second tier to that top tier. So that's why I think it's a matchup. They're like you say, they're in that, as far as the CMS rankings go, they're in that same tier. So they're both trying to move up. So that's somewhat of an even matchup. So
yeah, they're ranked 9 and 10 in the best of last this week. So
right. So they're right there neck and neck. So We're gonna see who rises to the top. So that's why I'm intrigued because they're so close.
And I'm hoping this game gets done by 9:20 because I got to run out of there and go back to work Friday night. So I'll say that now. There will be no Friday Night Live this week due to extenuating circumstances. But big game Friday night. All right. Last week, oh my gosh, some did better than others. As you see, the overall standings, Engine was 3-3, Producers 5-1.
Yeah.
They have moved into a first place tie at both 26 and 16. Big Shelby had a great week at 5-1. He is now in third place or second place, however you want to look at it, at 23 and 19. I had another average week, and I'm in fourth place at 21-21. And then Joe Hughes had the worst week of all, going 2-4, bringing the guest host total to 11-7.
Somebody got to bring the show down.
So the guest hosts have like a cumulative total they're going.
Your win percentage is way higher than Pepman's overall, so you're still good, Joe.
Well, he's propped up by Coach Johnson's 5-1. So if I took off the 5-1, he'd be 500 right there with me.
That's true too.
But we're hoping for a better week. My goodness. So let's get to Week 8's predictions.
First time viewing.
Right about to say, this is a surprise.
Yeah,
okay.
Pep. This is how Pep catches up right here.
I really thought I said it, man. I'm sorry. So just for the audience, I usually send them the prediction games ahead of time so they can think about who they're gonna pick.
You see what happened when Pep falls to almost last place?
Be some New Jersey 0-6 team versus another New Jersey 1-5 team. We're gonna be picking
another Corvian versus Carolina Bearcats.
Right, man.
Corvian is playing the Caber Stallions this week.
Watch that be one of the ones we got to pick too. Watch.
Come with it, man.
Watch it be another Packer game.
Y'all get on my nerves, man. I'll sit here and take my time and put this together every week.
Just get it over.
And all I get is hate.
Thank you, Tom.
Hate.
Haters gonna hate.
Insider trading, man. Insider trading.
Ain't no I'm 21-21. I'm not doing a very good job of trading.
That's why you're about to try to get.
Hey, the goal is to be even.
Hey, watch it be 6 games of teams we know nothing about.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna be like some.
Man, all right, here we go. Dang on, jeez. All right. See? Covenant Day at Asheville School, Engine.
Really?
I talk about Covenant Day every week.
Oh God.
We've talked about them before.
Asheville School.
Ultra Producer.
Covenant Day.
Big Shelby.
Covenant Day.
Joe Hughes.
Asheville School.
You sound so depressed. I will take Covenant Day in that one. All right, Cuthbertson at Marvin Ridge. Let's start. Joe, you got first on this one.
Cuthbertson burnt all of us a few weeks ago. I'm going Marvin Ridge. Probably something silly on that, but shoot, I don't care.
Big Shelby.
I'll go Marvin Ridge.
All right, Ultra Producer.
Marvin Ridge.
Engine.
See, I lost on a Marvin Ridge early in the year, so Marvin Ridge, I got you on this one.
I'm going Cuthbertson. All right, South Point at Kings Mountain, the big one. Ultra Producer, you got first shot.
I'm going to ride the wave. I'm going to go Kings Mountain.
All right, Big Shelby.
This can be for first place, too, for me.
You don't take that long. You don't take that long to place your order at chicken establishment.
I got to see who charging for the sauce, baby. I got to see.
Oh, today, Junior.
I'll go
I'm
Kings.
telling you,
I'm going Kings. I'm going Kings.
it wasn't
Joe.
that hard, was it? It was not that hard. Kings Mountain.
Engine.
No, hold on. You skipped you.
I always have the last pick, man.
You know what my guy Petty would say. GDTBAMKM way or no way. Kings Mountain by 173.
Oh God.
Oh gosh. I'll take Kings Mountain as well. And Mr. Petty has a message for you, Big Shelby. There you go.
The concession is real.
He typed that in all caps.
Hey, that's crazy. I'll pitch y'all.
Man,
He didn't like that it took you.
That's how Petty is. He's pissed because it took you so long.
How
Mark
about
Wayne,
this?
Mark Wayne cap
Kings
lock.
Mountain, K-Way or no way. Great day to be a Mountaineer, baby. How about that?
There you go. All right, North Stanley at Robinson. I'll go first on this. I'll take.
Okay.
What the heck, man? What?
You choose when you go first.
Y'all said J.M. Robinson, man. Engine, you're next.
You already know who I'm rolling with, man. My brother, Robinson.
Ultra producer.
I'm gonna go Robinson.
Big Shelby.
Robinson.
Joe Hughes.
I'm going Robinson.
Lake Norman at Hickory Ridge. Big Shelby.
Wow. Can I do my research first?
6-0 and 4-2.
I'll take Hickory Ridge.
Joe.
I'm going Hickory Ridge.
Engine.
Every time I've left the county, I've been burned this year. Go Raging Bulls.
Ultra producer.
I'm gonna go Hickory Ridge also, man.
All right, I'll take Hickory Ridge. And then the +2 bonus game of the week. Carolina Bearcats at Sand Hills Titans. Joe, you look excited. Go take
Not
a
a real
shot there.
team.
Well, these even real teams.
Yeah, they're real teams. It's a bonus. It's supposed to be hard.
Knowing you, man, you throw out some teams you made on mad.
Oh God. I'm going Sand Hills Titans. Oh Lord.
Big Shelby.
Carolina Bearcats. Just sound like they pretty good, I guess.
Ultra producer.
I don't know nothing about. I never heard of neither one of these teams, guys.
We just did one with the Bearcats.
I wasn't on the show last week.
Well, that's not my fault.
Hold on, man. I'm reading my notes on the Sand Hills Titans. Hold on. Let me
Yeah,
see.
because we already know Carolina Bearcats.
I'm going Sand Hills Titans.
Engine.
Now, for you guys who don't know about the Sand Hills Titans, they are currently 0-2, and they have been outscored 116-0. The Carolina Bearcats, they have won a game. After this week, the Carolina Bearcats will have won 2 games.
I am taking the Carolina Bearcats as well. If you are upset, make sure you always send your emails to the email address listed.
You know what, man?
That inbox is going to be full this week.
Actually, that's the email
Yeah,
address.
from us.
Pep is wrong
Exactly.
at gmail.com.
I'm going to send one right now.
Yep.
I'm gonna send one.
Ah,
Working
no.
then.
I try to be inclusive of all teams that participate in football. Inclusivity is important. They play football everywhere, man. And they deserve the love.
You know what?
All right, good. I'm glad everybody agreed with that.
I don't.
All
I
right.
don't agree.
Well, send. I haven't seen your email. I have not seen. Well, actually, there is an email, but I can't.
I'm
read
waiting until I get.
So that's
I'm waiting till I get to work.
if that's a +2 bonus, that means if you win, you get +2. But if you lose, you lose 2, right?
Yeah, why not? Let's make it fun. We'll make it
Dude.
interesting.
Dude.
I'm about to lose. I'm about to lose two.
Hold on.
This team played 2 games, man. 2 games. And
Where
one
are
was
the NFL games, man?
Actually, no. I just looked. They had 2 games. One is a forfeit, and one they lost 66-0.
But they lost the other one like 50-0. So I mean, or 60-0, 60-0, I think. 50-0.
And Carolina Bearcats only beat Highland Tech.
But a win is a win.
Yeah.
Win is a win. That's right.
Can we get some Eagle scores predictions?
Nah, I don't.
No, we don't talk about that football team.
Nah, man, we ain't talking about that garbage.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
telling you.
At least we can.
We don't play each other this year. It should be no beef.
It's always beef.
That was hard too.
Can I opt out of the picks? Can I pull all of my picks? I don't want to be here. Pull them out, man.
Nah.
Hey, how about you pull them out? Then
That's
whatever.
the slime right there.
Yeah, I'm
Slime time. Let's go.
You already know what time it is. We're all fired up. So we all, in fact, if it was up to me, we would all slime one person. You know who we're going to slime, so I'll just go ahead and do it. Pepman, you are the boss man. You are the owner. You are the big time.
I'm also the owner of the show. And I will not sit here and take this slime from all of you. I sit here and try to run a respectable show, and I'm getting here and I'm getting attacked, and I don't appreciate it. So we're going to restart Slime Time, and we're going to do it the right way with the host you all know and love, not me.
So my slime is Pepman Matt Morrow. Producer Ultra, who you sliming tonight?
Do y'all remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin used to stun Vince McMahon, even though he was the boss all the time? I think did he spray him with beer? Like, he used to stun Vince McMahon even though he was the boss. He was the owner, but he still got stunned multiple times. So, just because you're the boss of a company doesn't mean you can't catch a random stunner sometimes. So, this is going to be like an implied an implied slime. I'm not even going to say who I'm sliming. But based on my context and what I'm talking about, I think you know who I'm sliming. So I'm not even going to speak who I'm sliming, but just know who I'm sliming.
You remember when he showed up at the hospital? He stopped in the hospital. Joel Hughes, who you sliming tonight?
Man, now I got to remember that whole instance of Stone Cold hitting that man with the in the hospital room. Good grief. Anyhow, I actually put this in the comments earlier. I'm sliming the Shrine Bowl for that sorry dry chicken plate that they actually gave me about 3-4 years ago. I'm pretty pissed about that right now.
You got a dog.
Yeah, they getting the slime just for the hell of
it. That's petty right there. You going back 4 years ago to the Shrine Bowl. What about when Stone Cold, he poured the cement in the boss man's car? God, dog. Webb, who you sliming on tonight, man?
Man, I'm going to slime, man. I was watching a basketball game last night, and I seen a guy score a basket, and you will not believe what this man's last name is. This man's name is Steve Ho You Fat. So I am sliming Steve's parents. Why would you give your child the last name Ho You Fat?
Hey, lost the show tonight.
Hey, and his birthday is a day before mine too, which is crazy. Steve, pull your fat. That's amazing.
Man, boss man, you up? Who you sliming tonight?
Y'all want to talk about Vince McMahon? Okay, I got a Vince McMahon for you. You're fired!
Pep's show up to the game Friday night with sleeveless shirt on. Wait and see.
Yeah, he
No
gonna have a
chance.
pass too, man. He gonna
He's gonna be doing that little walk
The
like
Pirate,
man.
just the Pirate Square here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, y'all really ain't fired, man. I was just saying. I was just saying that.
We got beer though.
Yes.
Nikisha.
Pep,
Silent-
but you
a
control
silent
that right there,
contributor.
man. You know you're in a different space now, man. But you control that.
Yes. And for the record, Nikisha, I told him that he needed to give away shirts to our top fans, and he said he wasn't giving one to you.
I suggested that too. We were leaving the game. I said, I think
remember.
Nikisha would look great in the shirt.
That
Hey,
was
y'all, it is getting deep
I
in
remember that.
here, man.
He definitely texted the chat and asked us about what sizes we need to order for a fan shirt. So
God, naughty. Send me the size. Send me the size. I got you.
Well,
Anybody else want shirts that's watching? Just send me your sizes.
okay.
Good gracious.
If you're still watching right now, you deserve it.
Yeah, seriously. There's 30 people watching it. I don't know why. I guess there's nothing else better to do on
They've
a
left the
Wednesday night.
computer on.
Good Lord. Well, that just dropped to 29, so we just lost somebody. But, well, on behalf of everybody, I'm sorry, Jason. I'm sorry. I saw you, and I didn't think about it. I'm sorry. Good Lord. I'm
Let's
getting
see about
attacked
the
by
quarterback-
everybody tonight.
The
man.
quarterback rating, you owe him one for the QBR.
Yes, I know. I'm going to have to be like Coach Trotter and just carry the shirts with me everywhere I go so I don't get in trouble. So, all right. Well, on behalf of the crew who's really not fired, I was just saying that. Good night, everybody. I don't know if there's going to be a JV game in the week. If there is, you'll see it on Instagram.
won't even come to shit.
He'll tell you guys at the last minute. Don't you worry. He'll tell you right at the last.
I did get some DMs asking me to go places, so
If he shows up on Thursday, that's the JV game of the week.
Yeah, if I show up. Are you going to Cannon?
We're going to Cannon School. Yeah. Coach Bolton said that not only can my boys be on the sideline, but he asked if they wanted to run through the tunnel with the team, but we can't make it that early. Coach Bolton.
Oh man,
Good dude.
yeah, he is.
Yeah, he trying
Coach,
to.
he texted me. I forgot to text him back, but I'll see if I can make it. I gotta figure it out. But anyway, good luck to everybody this week. Thanks for watching, and hope you had a good laugh because we sure did. Good night, everybody.
Hey,
We'll work on that. We'll work on that, M Tuck. Send me a DM. Anybody else who wants shirts, just send me DMs. Good gracious. Thanks, guys.
anytime, man.